Coming up next, the community rallies together to support this local church after a devastating fire.
Plus, how the Fed's interest rate could affect home buyers and others. We talk with a local expert.
And what a better way to kick off the fall season in State College than this annual tradition. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Antonio Fondacaro.
And I'm Grace Eckerly. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, a Patton Township church is beginning the long process of rebuilding after a devastating fire. And the community is stepping up to support the recovery efforts. Reporter Christopher Reynolds has more on the story.
Despite losing their sanctuary to a devastating fire this month, the congregation of Woodycrest United Methodist Church in Patton Township remains undeterred. On Sunday, just over a week after the blaze, church members gathered for worship, not inside their building, but outside in the parking lot. Pastor Renee Ford says this is the first time they've been unable to use the church since the COVID pandemic. Ford says she's heartbroken about the fire, but is amazed by the community's response to it all.
If you ever wonder if there are good people in the world who genuinely care, when something like this happens, a tragedy, you see that happening in real time with real people. And so the response has been amazing.
The investigation into the cause of the late-night fire is ongoing, but church members have already started the cleanup, working with a local restoration company to clear the building of debris and assess the structural needs for a rebuild. The community is also rallying to help. A GoFundMe is set up to cover expenses that insurance won't, like replacing essential equipment, furniture, and historical documents. Donations will also help with temporary worship spaces and the church's insurance deductible. The church community is coming together in other ways as well, even reserving a spot during the service for one of their longtime members, Bev Keel. Her daughter, Kim Keel, says that gesture means so much.
So when this happened, she really wanted to come to church, but it's hard for her to sit outside. So they left us a parking space. And so we backed into the parking space, and she's sitting over there in the car, and she's going to watch church from car.
It's still unclear about when the church will be fully operational. However, services will continue outside or in other venues in the meantime. Reporting in State College, I'm Chris Reynolds with the Center County Report.
For more updates and information on how to help, visit woodycrestumc.org or the church's Facebook group.
Pennsylvania is ground zero for the presidential campaigns this week, with the election just 6 weeks away. Donald Trump made 2 stops in the state yesterday. Last night, he held a rally on the IUP campus in Indiana. He urged the crowd there to get out and vote. He won 68% of the Indiana county vote in his last campaign. Earlier, he held a roundtable with farmers and manufacturers in Smithton, not far from Pittsburgh. The event focused on China's influence on the U.S.'s economy. His opponent, Kamala Harris, plans to visit Pennsylvania tomorrow. The man accused in the apparent assassination attempt of Donald Trump at a golf course in Florida left behind a note detailing his plans to kill the former president. That's according to the Justice Department. Officials say Ryan Routh also kept in his car a list of dates and venues where Trump was to appear. A judge has ordered Routh to remain in custody.
The TSA says its officers found a loaded handgun recently at the State College Airport. The agency says the gun was in a passenger's carry-on bag. They say he's from Luzerne County. He could now face a fine between $3,000 and $15,000. Passengers can travel with guns, but they have to be checked, declared, unloaded, and in a hard case. Penn State paid tribute to prisoners of war and those missing in action during an annual event at Old Main. The POWMIA vigil happened on Friday. The event involved a 24-hour vigil by honor guards and ROTC cadets. It was open to the public and is part of Penn State's commitment to honoring military heroes.
Also at Penn State, from fraternity house to a home that can make a difference. The former Alpha Chi Sigma House is expected to become a new home for the Center Helps organization. That's an organization dedicated to helping people facing financial hardship or crisis. In 2021, the Redevelopment Authority acquired the old frat house, which the government will pay off over 15 years at a 5% interest rate. State Council, Borough Council, also expected to vote in October on a proposed $1.5 million loan for renovations of 2 floors.
Penn State will have to pay more than $700,000 to settle allegations that it paid some women employees less than men in similar jobs. The agreement with the U.S. Department of Labor involves 65 women employees at the university who will get back wages and interest. The claims date back to at least 2020. A federal review found that women were paid less than their male counterparts.
It's been almost a week since the Fed made a significant interest rate cut. What will it mean for consumers and when? Reporter Kenny Ojikeri talked with a local expert to find out more.
After the Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years last week, many hoped it would be the start of some welcome relief for consumers and businesses hit hard with debt, credit cards, auto loans, mortgages, and other forms of borrowing.
This decision reflects our growing confidence that with an appropriate recalibration of our policy stance, strength in the labor market can be maintained in a context of moderate growth and inflation moving sustainably down to 2%.
Penn State economics professor Dave Brown believes we may see the effects of the cut soon.
But the immediate effect is probably going to be mostly seen in the housing market. People might decide that now is a better time to buy a house with lower interest rates because it means borrowing money is cheaper.
Mortgage rates are now around 6.09%, the lowest since early 2023. Better news for sure, but many people are still struggling to afford a home. Housing prices have risen 49% in just the past 5 years. The Fed believes it's tamed inflation, which is almost back to the target of 2%, but that still means overall prices are rising, just more slowly. And experts say fighting inflation is tricky.
The risk is that if the Fed's interest cut was too late, then that means that economy is already weaker than they really think.
Federal Reserve policymakers are still looking to make another half-point cut. They'll meet on November 6th and 7th, right after we find out who America's next president will be. In University Park, I'm Kenny Ojikeri reporting for the Center County Report.
Economists project that home sales slowed last month, but the recent pullback in mortgage rates has brightened the outlook for new home sales heading into next year.
Still to come on the Center County Report, will this rainy weather continue later into the week? We will check the 7-day weather forecast.
And in sports, Penn State football is getting ready for a top 20 battle under the lights this week after a big win over the weekend. Also coming up, fluffy farm animals and free food samples. We take you to a festival celebrating student farmers and the start of autumn.
The State College School District Board just approved bidding to start for a major project at Mount Nittany Elementary School. The project will add a 40,000 square foot wing and more classrooms. Construction could start this winter and last for 18 months.
Fall is here, and that means pumpkin patches and cool nights. We take you to an annual event at the student-run farm in State College where people enjoyed some Harvest Fest fun. Dave Clipper has more.
The autumn season kicked off in style in State College as the Penn State Student Farm hosted its 9th annual Harvest Fest. The event brought families and students together for an afternoon filled with fresh food, fun activities, and a chance to connect with student farmers.
I think my favorite part is actually right behind me, this station with the tomatoes, the heirloom tomatoes, everything is farm fresh.
The celebration featured free samples of food grown at the farm, made with seasonal vegetables by local chefs from Taproot Kitchen, the Village at Penn State, and more.
The best part is it's hosted by Chef Stefan himself from Penn State Dining. Me and Chef Stefan, we've been friends for like the longest time. He's a really cool chef from France.
To celebrate the start of autumn, this evening is filled with farm fresh food, arts and crafts, and even a petting zoo. It's truly fun for the whole family. This farm started as a 3-acre plot 8 years ago, teaming up students with faculty to learn about agricultural and food systems in a hands-on way. The farm is now 4 acres and plans are in the works for more expansion.
There's so many people here that are passionate about connecting the community with sustainable food systems especially. So we have a lot of different projects that are involved with that, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of for the last 3 years.
Harvest Fest is more than just a celebration. It offers a glimpse into the future of sustainability in this real-world setting. In State College, I'm Dave Clipper for the Center County Report.
Some of the food grown on farm is distributed to Penn State dining halls and the Lions Pantry to help students in need.
Well, if there's one thing that we took away from this Harvest Fest, it's this beautiful fall-like weather right now. 57 degrees outside looking at the Arboretum. But the one thing is we're currently contending with some rain showers out in State College. And that's the main theme for this week. We're going to be stuck in rain for the next day, today, tomorrow, and even into Thursday. It should be all gone by Friday. But the one thing that is certain for the rest of the period, the fall field will be well abound with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Speaking of those lower temperatures, 57 in State College, that's our low point out of all the major observing sites here in Pennsylvania. But we are contending with 60s across the eastern part, 75 degrees in Pittsburgh. If you're out there, it's quite a summer-like day. Maybe get out, have some good lunch outside with some friends. The one thing, though, north of Pittsburgh is that you are seeing some rain showers, maybe north of Lawrence County out by Erie. That is tracking northeastward as we go throughout the morning, and it is associated with a low pressure system that is over Illinois right now. That is tracking eastward, and that is the main basis of where we'll be seeing our rain showers today into tomorrow. Another thing that we do want to watch here is Tropical Storm Helene, just named, and it's the 8th tropical system here in the Gulf of Mexico right now. Winds at 45 miles an hour right over that tropical storm threshold, and it's moving northwest, and as it moves northwest, it'll go through the warm Gulf waters. NHC says that it will go into a Category 3 major hurricane status as it makes landfall maybe in the Big Bend area of Florida Thursday night. And so we'll talk about what this means for our weather into the weekend. But going into today, we have to contend with that low pressure system as rain showers will be mainly scattered going into Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. So maybe you'll see some pop-up showers, but there is a chance that you'll see an isolated downpour. So I would always recommend you to bring maybe a rain jacket or an umbrella in there. So now as we go into Thursday, you could see that low pressure system of what was Helene riding up the coast. But now as we go into Friday and Saturday, it's going to be blocked because another low pressure system is moving over to its left, and it's going to go over in effect what we call the Fujiwara effect. And it's basically going to rotate over to the west, and we're not going to see much rain-wise here in State College. Still something to watch out for as we go into Saturday and Sunday. For the 7-day forecast, though, we are going to contend with showers today, 64, and then we're going to start to warm up heading into Thursday and Friday into the higher 70s, but it'll be really going into the lower 70s, and going into next week, we'll see great fall conditions, Grace.
You know what, Gavin? I'm going to hold on to what you're saying because I need this weekend to be sunny for the game. And to be honest with you, I cannot handle any more of this rain. What about you, Antonio?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I forgot my rain jacket this morning, so it was tough.
You and me both. All right, next up, we will take a look at what Kenny has for us in sports.
Next in sports, we take a look back at one of the big high school football games from over the weekend, plus a heartbreaker for Penn State women's soccer. Also coming up, fresh off their bye week, the Nittany Lions piled up record-setting numbers as they took on Kent State. Highlights and post-game reaction next. I'm Kenny Ojikari with sports. Penn State football faces its toughest test so far this Saturday when they take on unbeaten Illinois in a night game at Beaver Stadium. The team is coming off a dominating win against Kent State last Saturday. It was Penn State's military appreciation game, and the Nittany Lion faithful needed a convincing win in this one. After an interception on the first drive, the Lions would score touchdowns on the next 6 out of 7 drives. Star tight end Tyler Warren got the ball rolling, catching a touchdown late in the first, but he didn't stop there. With some trickery, he threw a 17-yard touchdown pass to Nick Singleton, but the real QB1, Drew Aller, had a monster day with only 4 incompletions. He would throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, also running in one before the half. His longest touchdown was for 59 yards to Amari Evans, a player who head coach James Franklin raved about post-game.
He's practicing more consistent. He's competing more consistently. He's gaining confidence. And I think I told you guys, if he had some success, his career could go through the roof.
Safe to say it was a smooth day for the Nittany Lion offense and a great one for James Franklin's defense. They held Kent State to only 67 total yards of offense while pitching a shutout. And with Penn State's 56-0 win, they would move up in the national rankings to number 9. And Franklin had a huge message for next week's game.
From the fans, we need this place rocking next week. I'm calling for white out energy. Everybody got me?
The Nittany Lions ended up breaking a record that, get this, stood for 98 years. 718 total yards of offense for new offensive coordinator Andy Kudelnicki, and if he were in this room, I would be giving him the biggest hug right now. And next up is 19th ranked Illinois with kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. You can listen live to the game on Penn State Com Radio. Now, to high school football. State College beat Chambersburg over the weekend to move to 4-1, and Tyrone and Bellwood Antis played a very tight game. After the whistle, reporter Evan Pochis has more on that matchup.
Tyrone came into tonight with a 2-game win streak over Bellwood Antis, looking to keep up their dominance in one of the most heated rivalries in District 6. The Golden Eagles would flex their muscle early, jumping out to a 14-8 first-half lead.
Coming from a rough game last year, big loss, 34-0, we had to prove something. We had a lot to prove. We came out here and we proved it.
Big nights from Colin Gibbons and Braden Partner highlighted a heart-rending comeback win for the Blue Devils.
I mean, the O-line just made huge holes. I just went through it and I saw it and hit it hard.
Like all storybook endings, this one came down to the last play.
Tensions were high in the backyard brawl, but not higher than the last play of the game when Tyrone tried to spike the ball with a second left, but it turns out they had no time, and Bellwood Antis would be declared the winner.
We just told them that they had to just believe that they were able to make that stop. That's something we talked about pregame. They have to believe in themselves, and I think that's coming of age for them as a player, that they did that and they were able to finish the game.
Bellwood Antis would be the winner in this one, and the celebration was on. With After the Whistle, I'm Evan Pochis.
You can join us every Friday night for high school football highlights on our local sports show, After the Whistle. You can see it live at 11:30 p.m. on our YouTube channel. That's PSU Belisario College Student Media. Bellefonte High School is mourning the loss of longtime baseball coach Don Robinson. A longtime varsity coach and staple in the community, Robinson, known as Coach Robbie, spent 18 years as head coach of the Red Raiders, winning 4 District 6 titles. He was honored during the Bellefonte football game on Friday night.
Those that knew him would tell you he was humble, thoughtful, always had a smile, and would help out anyone with no thought of recognition.
The away dugout at Governor's Park, Bellefonte's home field, was named after Robinson in 2023. He was inducted to the Center County Sports Hall of Fame in 2019. And number 9 ranked Penn State women's soccer is hitting the road for a game at Iowa on Thursday. They're coming off a frustrating home loss to number 5 Michigan State on Sunday before more than 2,000 fans. Hannah Valcourt was there.
Penn State battled hard against 5th-ranked Michigan State on Sunday in their Wear White soccer match. The Spartans struck first, scoring the only goal of the game in the 3rd minute. The Nittany Lions failed to strike back on their 18 shots on net.
The response was fantastic. I think that this is a team that stuck to a game plan. I thought we created enough opportunities to score a goal, and total credit to Michigan State. They fought us off.
Michigan State's physicality challenged Penn State throughout the game.
And there's a physical game and then there's a tactical game, and we needed to win both today, and I thought we responded to the challenge.
It was a battle back and forth with strong defensive stops to keep possession for both teams. Each team had 6 corner kicks and failed to create a scoring chance. Michigan State goalkeeper Caitlin Parks was a main factor in preventing the Nittany Lions from scoring.
Between the two teams, there was a total of 20 fouls and 1 yellow card given to Michigan State. Despite the tough loss, Penn State will now look forward to their next few opponents. Reporting for the Center County Report from Jeffrey Field, I'm Hannah Valcourt.
Next up are 2 road games for the Nittany Lions, one at Iowa and another at Nebraska. And that's all for sports. Let's kick it back to our lovely anchors.
Excellent analysis, Kenny. And let me tell you, if Coach AK was in the room with us, I'd give him a big old hug too. Tyler Warren absolutely going off against Kent State.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Now coming up, this year's homecoming festivities are underway here at Penn State. After the break, we'll tell you some of the big events happening this week.
It's officially Penn State homecoming week, and that means lots of events in State College all week. Yesterday, people turned out even in the rain for the Allen Street Jam, with plenty of food, fun, and music. Other events this week include the For the Glory talent show and also tomorrow's Best of Penn State Carnival on the Hub lawn. Homecoming kicks into high gear Friday with the parade at 7 p.m. and then the football game Saturday night. Also remember, some roads will be closed Friday afternoon and the evening for the parade.
That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Friday for our next local news update.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X, and you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good afternoon.